Hi everyone, Sue from Art, Craft and Journals. I hope everybody's well. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me. Today I have just a quick little project share. I've been making, as you know, or may not know, if you've been watching my videos, you'll know that I am desperately trying to clear up or use up a lot of my stash because I have lots. So I also have lots and lots of bits of fabric, fabric scraps and things. So I'm sort of trying to work out what I could do with them that I hadn't already done. So what I've come up with is these, I'm not sure what you call them, embellishments. They could be used as a corner tuck or even a flip out, I guess. So this is basically what I came up with. So what I did, apart from using up the fabric bits, I've also got a lot of these, which were from the window flower journaling cards, I think they were, or embellishments that I made a little while ago. So I've got quite a few of those. So I thought I need to use those, and I need to use some fabric. And the other good thing was that I also used some of the stamps that I don't always use. Anyway, so what I did was, you can have a look. So basically it's the card with some fabric sewn on with a sentiment, and or depending on the card, there is a watercolored stamped image as well. So there's that one. And I have this butterfly. So again, that was watercolored using watercolor pencils. And then sewn onto the background. And what I did with this one, I inked around the edges because there was a lot of the card showing on that one. And another one, hang on, we might move the ones out the back. Okay, so there's this one. I like that one. I like the colours. And this one. And this one. So as you can see, they're just fabric scraps zigzag stitched onto the card. And then with the stamped sentiment or image on as well. And there's this one here, that's a more vintage style. And also this one's a little bit more vintage style as well. So that's what I've been doing, and I will quickly make one just to show you quickly how I did it. But before I do, what I have decided to do, and I might have to just zoom out a little bit for this, because I find it a little bit of a pain having to dig through all the stamps I've got to find sentiments and things. And sometimes I know I've got one, but I just can't find it. Or it takes me that long to find it that it just drives me nuts. So what I have done, I've gone through and I've pulled out most, I wouldn't say all, but most of these ones in particular are birthday or happy birthday. And what I did was I stamped them onto card, and I have actually scanned it. So I can reprint it if I like. So they'll always be there when I'm, if I'm making a card or something, I'll grab it out and I can have a quick look at which sentiment I like the best, which suits the card. So then I'll just cut it out. I did the same with just other little sentiments that I've got. So I went through a lot of my stamps and just stamped them out. Some obviously are better than others. I think my ink pad, which I used the stays on, but I think it was getting a little bit tired towards the end. And this one, as you can see, I've cut those ones out for the little embellishments. So these ones are just general ones that I thought might be useful as well. Now I've also done the same with butterflies, and I do actually have 2 pages of different butterfly stamps. So I've got plenty of butterflies when I need them. And then this one was just some random images that I, as I was doing it, I stamped them out. So as you can see, I've cut out a couple of those for these particular little embellishments. So really, just a quick show how to do it. Not that it's very technical, but there's a piece of card. Now you could use just normal cardboard or chipboard. You could use old playing cards as well. Anything really that has a bit of a base. But of course I have these left over from the other projects, so that's what I'm using. Now then all I did was basically just a bit of glue, doesn't have to be too fancy. And then I just got some scraps of fabric. Now most of my scraps, these particular ones, were cut up for a patchwork project. Wasn't mine, I did buy them in a bag from the op shop, but so I've just sort of torn them in strips, and I've chosen the colours that sort of go together a little bit based on this one really. So let me see, I'm just thinking how I'm going to put it. So then I just place them down, and it doesn't matter if they overhang. I think I might put this one at the bottom. Threads and things everywhere. Just put that one at the bottom, I think. And I might tuck that underneath. Like so. And I really like this one, so this is going to be sort of like so. You can put a little bit of extra glue if you like, but bear in mind you are sewing it on the sewing machine. You could hand sew them or slow stitch them. You wouldn't want your card too thick though, you really wouldn't. It'd be, after a while your hand would start to ache. Then you can either sew all that first. I use zigzag for most of them, but you could use straight stitch, or you can and then attach the butterfly or your image or your sentiment, or you could sew them all in the one hit. Some of them I did sew them all down together, some of them I didn't. It just depended on what the image was. So I'll very quickly sew that on the sewing machine. Okay, so basically I went around, well first of all I went straight down the middle, then I just continued around the edge, and then did the butterfly straight down the middle. Now I'll just trim off these, the ends. Now the good thing about these two is that you can put them together while you're sitting in front of the television set, and then when you've got a whole pile of them, just sit down and sew them. So it's one of those projects that you can start you know, in the lounge room, and then when you get to the sewing machine you can finish them off. And I think they're quite a cute little embellishment to use. You know, you could do the basis first, and then if you've got a specific journal in mind, you could then put the image or the sentiment on if you wanted. So you could have a whole stack of them ready to go. You wouldn't even have to sew the image. You could actually just glue it down, I guess, with some fabric glue or craft glue. That would probably work too. But it was just another little project that I thought might be worth sharing, that, you know, I'm sure I'm not the only one with a bunch of scraps to use. And of course, if your scraps aren't you know, rectangles and squares or whatever, you could use whatever you'd like. It doesn't really matter. This one, the little bit of lace, curtain lace was popped on the end as well. So you could do that as well. You could add some lace and things. But my prime goal was to use up some of the pieces of fabric first of all. So I hope you like that. I hope it gave you some more ideas what you can do with your scraps and things. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.